fellow councillors. As you're aware, this is a continuation of the council discussion with respect to development on Main Street. So there needs to be a discussion around the table. We have an agenda that was circulated earlier today, and if we could have a motion, or earlier this week, could we have a motion to approve it?
So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Mangle, seconded by Councillor Simpson. Any question?
Question.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, nay. Motion carried. So we have, we require a motion to bring the table, the development room that's been tabled, bring it back to the table. So,
I'll make it.
moved by Councillor Bryan, seconder. Seconder, Councillor Sparkman. Ready for the question?
Question.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, nay. Motion carried. I had a lot of consideration, a lot of thought about this over the last many weeks. And I feel that with my personal involvement and my in-laws' involvement in my wife's business and her family's business, I can be well perceived to be in a conflict of interest. So I'm afraid I have to excuse myself from the table and abandon the chair for in favor of Deputy Mayor Mangle. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'm not sure that everybody was welcome to the meeting, but I'll do that in case it wasn't fully acknowledged. It's nice to see a full house here, and obviously it's an important evening, and it's good to see that our councillors are eager and ready to go. As we know, Councillor Oldham is away and won't be back until Thursday, and he's also declared a conflict of interest on this development as well. So just wanted to remind everybody and in the gallery and at the table of that. Is there not a chair for the folks in the hall? It would be wonderful if we could accommodate everybody in the room. We could even use one of these chairs around front. Please come in. Well, we can even move one of these chairs around if you'd like to. Yeah. Great. So, Director Morrison, would you like to start, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I just want to run over some changes that have been made or proposed to the development agreement since Council's last meeting. And they were on three issues that Council asked the developer to have another look at or make some changes as Council would like. There were three issues. The first was the mix of dwelling unit types that there would be in the development. The second was the building architecture. And the third was the access and egress for the driveway. So respecting the mix of dwelling units, Council was interested in seeing a greater mix than what was proposed in the initial development. The units were, other than for ones that would be barrier-free, which would be slightly different than the standard units, there were no other types of units proposed. So the developer has taken a look at that and has committed to provide 13 units that are 1 or 2 bedrooms. That is different from the standard bachelor unit, if you will, that were proposed in the original proposal. So these units would be 20 to 60% larger than the standard units. and there would be a minimum of 13 of those. The agreement has been redrafted to include a clause to that effect. And also a further qualification, and again, covering the development agreement, a minimum of these 13 would have to be, a minimum of 4 would have to be 2 bedrooms. So we have a minimum of 4 2-bedroom units within the 13 1 or 2 bedroom units. Now, the developer would have some flexibility to perhaps make more of those 2 bedrooms if he chose, or if the design worked out that way, but a minimum of 4 would be 2 bedrooms. Again, there would be some barrier-free units that would be as required by the provincial building code, and he will have to meet those requirements for whatever the provincial building code indicates will be required. There would likely be 4 of those. Not included in the development agreement, but in the developer's plans, subject to building code requirements, are units within a loft units, if you will, which would have a second story with a bedroom in them. I understand he's still working with some issues about building code and stairs to those units, but that's another possibility, but not a guarantee and not in the agreement. So those are the changes that the developer has agreed to make in the development agreement, and you will see in the draft agreement that you have those changes are included. Respecting building architecture, there's no change proposed at this time by the developer. There has been quite a bit of change to the building since it was first submitted to the town, with requests from my office, from the CDC committee, from our consultant's report. There have been changes to the exterior of the building, which have changed the design to a point where the developer would now like council to consider the design as it has been most recently submitted to them. Respecting access and egress driveway, there's concern expressed by council as to the uncertainness of one of the options that's provided for in the development agreement. And that option is a single width driveway with an entrance only at Main Street and an exit to the north over the lands of the Windsor-Hansport Railroad. All the details of that haven't been worked out, and there was some discomfort at the council table about approving that option without knowing all the details. So the developer, there was an option in the development agreement that was more recently drafted that provided for a 2-way driveway as one of the options. And the developer is happy to remove the other option from the table and simply go with the 2-way driveway. So that can be an option where the development agreement would provide for only that option. Now, the agreement as submitted to council has retained the option with a northern exit. If council should want to continue to consider that. There have been some qualifiers placed, some additional qualifiers placed on that alternative that would protect the town in 2 ways. There'd be a required approval by the town engineer respecting engineering concerns and traffic concerns, so that if the town wasn't satisfied with the proposal that came forward on that basis, then the town would simply reject it. Also, the rail trail would have to be maintained or enhanced, and there is a qualifier in this option B, if you will, that would ensure that the town would be satisfied with whatever changes there might need to be to the rail trail, if any. So the town would have, I guess, veto power, if you will, on both those points if the arrangement that comes back is not suitable. So council can still consider that this evening if they want to hold that option open. I would suggest that there may be some advantages for the town and other property owners in that area. If there is a driveway there, there's an opportunity for parking. We've already been talking with the railroad about possibilities of parking on that land, and also would afford perhaps other properties with opportunities for additional access to their lands. Perhaps eventually a connection to the town parking lot at Nova Scotia Power. So there are some possible positive options that council may want to consider leaving that option open. But if not, you can always go back to the double driveway. So those are the changes that are proposed based on the discussion at council last week, Mr. Chair, and we have the 3D model here if council wishes to see it. We have the other drawings and presentations from past meetings if there's anything the council wanted to see in their discussions, and we'd be happy to try to answer questions if council has questions.
Thank you very much.